Welcome back, guys, to the Butterfly Season podcast. I am back again today with a microdose of an episode, short, sweet, to the point, with some actionable items to take away. Today, I want to talk about habits. We hear a lot about habits. It's a buzzword, habit stacking, all of the things, right? And so I want to unpack habits a little bit more deeply and help you understand how they're formed, but then also help you to take inventory of what negative habits do you have in your life that you can unlearn and relearn a new process around them. So the elements of a habit is trigger, behavior, reward. Something triggers you, think like boredom, maybe, right? And then you create a behavior around it. Maybe you pick your phone up, and then there's a reward. Maybe you are rewarded by the entertainment that's on your phone. Maybe if you're posting, so you post when you're bored, so then you're rewarded by the likes and the comments and people hyping you up, right? That is a habit that is triggered through boredom. Now, for me, I realize that I have a habit around comfort eating, comfort food. Anytime I have a bad day, like there was a point in time where I'd be like, you know what? I worked really hard today. I had a bad day. I deserve sprinkles. Like literally, like if you looked at my Uber Eats, you can see the phases that I go through. I was like pure sprinkles ordered to my house. And obviously we know the negative side effects around that, eating more, all of the things. And gaining weight, everything, which we don't even need to get into. But that is a loop, a habit that I'm in that's producing a negative consequence. So where are you triggered? What behavior are you taking, and what's the reward that is keeping your mind in that like A, B pattern? If this, then this, if this, then this, okay? Or maybe ABC for the purpose of the example. So I'm going to give you questions to ask yourself to determine if you are having a negative pattern, because the first step to taking action around anything is shining a light on it. So for the trigger, I want you to ask yourself, what circumstances or situations tend to lead me to engage in this type of behavior? Think like toxic relationships even. There was a time where my husband and I were first dating, and I remember like having our first maybe like substantial fight or like argument of sorts. And I remember him apologizing so quickly, and I felt like it was wrong. This is going to sound crazy, but it's so true. I was just so used to toxic relationships that like having an actual apology felt wrong, but because of what I was used to before. I remember even talking to my best friend and being like, there's just like not like a spark there. And she's like, no. There isn't toxicity there, and you're confusing that with a spark. So that was a pattern, an ABC pattern that I would just continue to repeat. And when I was introduced to somebody that broke the pattern, it felt wrong, even though it was right. So that might be true for you in another instance, but it doesn't have to be just like food related. Ask yourself, when do I usually start to feel the urge to engage in the behavior after you're triggered, right? Like, what is the thing that I'm doing? Maybe you recognize the behavior, but you're not sure about the trigger. Then ask yourself that question. Is there a certain time of day or a situation that triggers the behavior? And when it comes to the behavior, another question you can ask yourself is, what is the behavior that I want to change? Like, what is it? What are you not liking that you want to fix? What specific actions do I take when engaging in this behavior? How do I feel before, during, and after engaging in this behavior? I will tell you this much, at least in relation to like emotional eating, I always end up feeling bad about it after, because it gives me like a quick dopamine hit, and then I'm like feeling bad at myself for not choosing to eat the right thing and not being happy with my weight or not being happy with how I looked in the mirror, how my clothes fit. So that's how that kind of manifested for me. From the reward, what do I get out of engaging in this behavior? If it is not a positive thing, then ma'am, let's move on from it. Another question is, what temporary pleasure or relief does it provide? Understanding that it's temporary might help reframe you from wanting to take action around it, because it's like just a quick fix. And we all know quick fixes are just that, quick fix, and we kind of end up resorting to the same pattern if we don't address that pattern. The last question is, does it help me avoid or cope with uncomfortable emotion or situations? And so, interestingly enough, in relation to the eating, because I get that quick like emotional hit, dopamine hit of like eating and feeling good and all the things, like it is an avoidant tendency, as opposed to actually digging deep and saying, okay, like let me process why this was a rough day. What can I change? Or how can I release this like pent up, I don't know, frustration, anxiety, maybe, which could be going for a walk, working out, like taking a dance class, doing something fun, putting that energy into something else as opposed to food. Okay. So does the reward behavior and trigger, does any of that help you avoid or cope with uncomfortable emotions or situations? If you're not dealing with those things and we're just pacifying it with some sort of trigger behavior reward, like we're never actually going to be our best selves and live fully in a butterfly season. So take that home. A lot of food for thought. It's kind of some heavy stuff, and try them on for size and let me know how it works for you. Okay. That's all for today. If you found any value out of this episode, share it with a friend, share it online, tag me at Aisha or at It's Butterfly Season. And until next time.